everybody. Welcome back. It's Frankie Boyer, WCRN and WACE. And I just want to say publicly, before we even begin our interview with Dr. David Minkoff, the author of The Search for the Perfect Protein. You know, Dr. Minkoff has been talking about movement. He's also been talking about the importance of moving for weeks and weeks and weeks. And, you know, I used to be a runner many years ago, and I began every day running. And then I would do 3 days a week. I would get up at 5 in the morning to work out with a trainer and do all kinds of crazy things. And, you know, like everything else in life, we get away from those routines. Maybe you're one of those people that the routine kind of just, life got in the way and all kinds of things get in the way and we don't do what we're supposed to do and we know we should. Well, something clicked when Dr. Minkoff started talking about movement and exercise. And I decided to take the challenge. And I think you said, Dr. Minkoff, that you wanted us to do this for at least 21 days?
Well, actually, according to the research, it takes 60 days to change a habit.
60 days,
So I
okay.
suggested people do 60 days, and, you know, some it may click before that. But
yeah.
Usually by 60 days, there's a new habit pattern, and then it's part of your routine, and you don't have to argue with yourself.
Exactly. Okay. So ever since that interview, it's been about 3 weeks. I think it's been about 3 weeks. I'm not sure. But 6 days a week, 5 to 6 days a week, I have been getting up earlier and doing a very intense walk with a friend, an interval walk where we move fast. She doesn't realize I'm doing this, but there are times when we just move really fast, and she'll say, boy, what are you doing? And I'm aware of it because I want to do that. I'm doing it on purpose. But it's an hour, and it's between 8,500 and 9,200 steps that is done first thing in the morning. That's it. And then the day begins. And I'm here to tell you that I have made a major shift in my physical appearance. People are saying, your skin looks great. What have you done? Other compliments and comments. Now, you all know that I did the weight loss protocol, and I did it with the ultimate weight management formula, which I'm so crazy in love with this formula. It's the best formula I've used in years. And then in addition to that, I have to tell you that I have been taking the Healthy Thin Energize, and I lost a lot of weight. And so now, when the protocol that I did was over, I have been moving and walking and doing some push-ups and doing some other things. And I have to tell you, it feels so good. The discipline, you know, I'm an artist, and I'm forcing myself to paint some really difficult things from my virtual art class. But the importance of this discipline, Dr. Minkoff, is that it really affects your life. It's so critical to have these disciplines, and I just want you to share with us again, please, if you've not heard Dr. Minkoff, if you don't understand why this is so critical, please share with us.
Well, life is movement. Life is action. If you're alive, you can move. And if you're alive a little, you can move a little. And if you're alive a lot, you can move a lot. And I think as people age, they talk themselves into the idea that because they're older or because it may take a little bit more effort or they can't do as much as they used to, that they go into a mindset of I'm on the way out, I'm on the way down, I'm not what I used to be, and you can talk yourself right into the grave. And I think it's the complete wrong attitude. I know from myself and other people that the satisfaction of action and movement and exercise is just as good at 72 as it is at 35. If you get into the habit and you do it, and you keep that going. Today I had about 3 hours of active movement, where I was running, swimming, and biking. And it's 92 degrees here. I'm in Florida, and the humidity is 90+%. And my body was just singing with the pleasure of being able to move like that and enjoy it and finish off and then not feel like I'd actually had a hard day. So it's getting used to it, and just like what you did is you're walking an hour very fast. That's really good. And when I was younger, my dad had a heart attack, and this was in the early 70s, and he had a really bad heart attack. And when he got home, he was so weak that he could only really kind of stand up from the couch and take a couple steps. And I was in medical school at the time, and I got this idea that maybe if we just did a little bit more each day, he could get stronger. And he decided that he would take one extra step every day. And within about 4 months, he was walking 3 miles. It started in the living room with 5 steps and then sit down. And then the next day, 6 steps and then sit down. And then the next day, he felt like he could take 8 steps and he sat down. And literally by the end of 3.5 months, he was walking the dog for 3 miles.
Yeah.
And the body has an amazing ability to adjust and to gain fitness. And I think if it will follow your intention to get it to do more and do it better, and then it's just a matter of sort of patience and effort to keep it going. And there does reach a point where the endorphins kick in, where all of a sudden there's pleasure from movement, like, wow, like that feels really good. And it lasts for hours. It might last the whole day, where, wow, my body likes that. I'm moving easier. I can get down with my grandchildren on the floor and get back up again much easier. And or I can pick them up much easier. I'm stronger. The effort produces results. And I think people just have to be willing to put in their 60 days and, at the same time work on their nutrition, make sure they're taking perfect amino, and you will see a difference because
I want to talk about the perfect amino. Because while I'm doing this, the minute I come home, I take my perfect aminos. And if you've not read about the perfect amino story, and we need to talk about this in just a moment, we will, because there's been a lot of news lately about amino acids in the body and COVID. And there's been a lot of talk about the microbiome and how important these aminos are. This is a brand new conversation that we're starting to see on 60 Minutes. On 60 Minutes, I saw this on 60 Minutes last week. They were trashing probiotics, but they were talking in the conversation about amino acids and the microbiome. And so these perfect aminos are so critical. They're so critical as we age, and it's one of the reasons I just have to say it's one of the reasons why my body is reshaping itself. It's one of the reasons why I'm starting to see a difference in the way that I look physically. It's not just the weight loss. It's the perfect aminos that have been in my program now, in my protocol for about 5 months.
Yep. Well,
and
that
that's what's
elastin in the skin is a protein, and it,
yes.
you know, you regrow collagen, you regrow elastin, your skin firms up, the wrinkles are less, the muscles can grow, they get stronger, the tendons and ligaments, the enzyme systems which produce energy, these are all dependent, the mood particles, you know, the serotonin and dopamine and GABA, these are all amino acid derived compounds. And when you get enough, and then, you know, one of the only thing that's actually completely proven to delay brain aging and Alzheimer's is exercise. It's the only thing that's actually been proven to make a difference. When you exercise and you move your body, you grow new brain connections and you improve your memory and your brain performance. So these are really, you know, our whole history from evolution is that we had to move to live. And now we can sit in front of a computer screen all day and earn money and live. But it's not, you know.
By the way,
we
have to come back and talk about this. This is really an important conversation. We're talking today to Dr. David Minkoff. Dr. David Minkoff, and I was remiss in telling you all about him because he is a board-certified physician, one of the pioneers in the functional medicine movement and alternative medicine movement. He's the co-founder of Body Health, which is a nutrition company that offers a unique range of dietary supplements. They've made me a believer in their multivitamin, and I've never, in 20 years, I've never, ever, ever recommended a multivitamin except you got me on your product. It's so unbelievable. The number is 877-804-3258, and you get 25% off as Frankie Boyer listeners, 877-804-3258. We'll take a quick break. We will be back our remaining moments with Dr. David Minkoff, continuing this conversation, which is so critical. This is what's going to keep us healthy as we go forward in our country right now with everything that is looming over us with COVID, and we'll be back in a moment. Stay tuned. Frankie Boyer, WCRN WACE. Welcome back. It's Frankie Boyer. Joining me today is Dr. David Minkoff. The book is free. Go online at Perfect Aminos, bodyhealth.com. The search for the perfect protein. Dr. David Minkoff is with us. Dr. David Minkoff is with us, and we're talking about the importance. And you know, I really thought that walking around the neighborhood and getting my steps in was enough. You know, I really believed it. I fooled myself into believing that for a lot of years. Yeah. And I believed it to be true. I really did. I'm not kidding. And then I heard something you said, and I'm not sure which one of the interviews, but there was something that you said that triggered the truth in me. And I'm like, who are you kidding, Frankie Boyer? You haven't moved your body to where it needs to go in a very long time. Who are you kidding? And I said, you know, the dog is getting older. I can't take him like I used to when he was 5 years ago. He's 14 and a half. The poor dog can't go where he needs to go anymore. He's an old man.
You're and
I've allowed this dog to dictate, well, if he can't walk, then I'm not either? No, I don't think that doesn't make any sense. No. And so I challenge you all. I challenge all of my listeners. It's not easy getting off the sofa. I know it's not. I know it's not easy. But listen to me. If you think you're going to be able to outrun COVID by being a couch potato and eating your face off, it's not going to happen. And I have another twist to the story that you mentioned, Dr. Minkoff, a while ago. You talked about something, and we never really got into it, but I want to talk a little bit about it today. And that is all of the chemicals that are now in our systems that are, because glyphosate is everywhere. It's in the ground, in the plants, in the water, in the air. It's all around us. And they're now saying that there is a connection between these toxins and the effects of the COVID-19 virus.
Yep.
And you talked about this a while ago. Please explain to us what you mean by that.
Well, when you look at sort of the cofactors that go along with people who got serious COVID, or the places where the epidemic was the strongest, one of the factors was number of particles of air pollution in the cities where they live. Like Wuhan was just, their air was almost black. In New York City, the air is bad. So it isn't one for one, but what they found is that, okay, if you're obese, if you have diabetes, if you have hypertension, if you're on a lot of medications, if you got a flu vaccine, you know, these are, if you eat bad, if your vitamin D level is low, these are things that make you age. These are things that make you a higher risk patient. You're in a nursing home, you're in a nursing facility. These are risk factors, so that if you get the virus, you're gonna, you know, your potential to get really sick is much higher. And one of the other things that goes with this is air pollutants. And the more air pollutants there are in those places, when those people have those other things, there is, you know, cyanide is one of the, and arsenic are things that are in air pollutants, and they can affect the lung, they can affect the blood's ability to deliver oxygen. So these are, you know, these are things that are, depending on where you live, you might have a high exposure. The other thing I want to mention, along with what I did earlier, you know, the only proven thing to delay Alzheimer's or improve brain health is exercise. But in the Framingham study, which was done right where you are in Boston, it's this very long-term study. I think it started in the 50s. To track thousands and thousands of people for especially cardiovascular disease, but what were the risk factors? And so they tracked these people with cholesterol and hypertension and smoking and obesity and all these things. And what they found was that the most important thing in living longer and healthier was lung function. It wasn't cholesterol, it wasn't a low cholesterol, or it wasn't a low triglycerides, or it wasn't, you know, other things. It was pulmonary function, which is how well do you breathe and how well can your lungs take in oxygen and get rid of carbon dioxide. And one of the things with exercise is that as you exercise and you get more proficient, so that you have periods where you sort of push your lungs and your heart to have to work a little harder. They got to get a little bit more oxygen in. You got to get a few more breaths in so that your muscles can get fed, so that you can walk faster, or run faster, or swim faster, bike faster, doesn't matter, or walk upstairs faster. But exercising this organ is your key to longevity, because you're helping your brain, and you're helping your lung, and you're helping your cardiovascular system. So what Frankie's been talking about, walking and then having periods during that walk, you know, where you are walking fast so you get out of breath and you sweat, and then you ease off and you recover, can make a huge difference. I'm not telling anybody to do anything that your doctor says you shouldn't do. So, you know, this isn't medical advice, but it's just a principle that unless, if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. And that includes heart and lung function as well as muscles and strength and bones.
And I just have to say, Dr. Minkoff, that it doesn't matter. You made a brilliant comment earlier about it doesn't matter how old you are. And my friend who is 83 is getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning to do it every single day. And she's doing her walk with her friend, her elderly friend, and the two of them are out there at 6 in the morning. And she has noticed incredible benefits. And imagine at 83 years of age, 6 to 7 days a week going out there and moving your body. And that's what we are talking about. This is the natural law. When we look at the blue zone, when we look at the centenarians in the blue zones, what are they doing, Dr. Minkoff? They're moving their quads. They're bicycling. They're connecting. This is what we're supposed to be doing, everybody. And this pandemic has given every single one of us, because we're still not back to normal yet. We still are, in different phases in different parts of the country. And we still have an opportunity to get out and move now. And you can do it early in the morning before the heat.
Yeah. In every, there can be a silver lining in anything. And one of the silver linings of COVID and having to completely redesign your lifestyle or your work style is that there's an opportunity to also say, okay, I was in a rut before and I couldn't really get out of it. I had to be at the train at 7 o'clock and I didn't get home till 7 o'clock and I had no time. But now, now
we have the time. Yes, we are going to continue this conversation next time Dr. Minkoff is on, and I promise you that. I'm encouraging everyone to take the 60-day challenge, to get the perfect aminos. Buy them right now. They come in powder or tablet. 877-804-3258. You won't believe the difference. And the next time you come on, we don't have time today, but we will talk about the connection of the aminos, which we started to get into, and this new conversation about the microbiome and how now they're realizing how huge an impact this has. And you were on top of this, and you write about it in the book, The Search for the Perfect Protein. Get the book, go to bodyhealth.com, 877-804-3258. This has been another edition of the Frankie Boyer Show for WCRN and WACE. Thanks for listening. Make it a great day, everybody. Move! Come on, let's do it! Take the challenge. We'll see you next time, and as always, smile. Stay tuned. Howie Carr is next.